In this skill lesson, we will discuss comparing and contrasting texts across genres. Our learning objective is to be able to analyze seminal or influential US documents of historical significance and how they address related themes and concepts. But let's begin with a question. What are some texts or media that address similar topics? And how do those texts or media deal with the subject matter in similar or different ways? One that comes to mind for me is the novel To Kill a Mockingbird and Shakespeare's Hamlet. While they are very different stories set in very different times, both deal with the issues of justice. In the case of To Kill a Mockingbird, the theme is racial justice, whereas in Hamlet, the theme is justice for a wrongful murder. Another one I think of is Charles Dickens's classic A Christmas Carol, a story that has been told and retold in text, on stage, and in film for generations. One clever reimagining of A Christmas Carol is the 1988 comedy Scrooged, starring Bill Murray. Scrooged is set in modern day New York City, and the main character is a greedy and selfish media mogul who, through the course of a crazy night and a few ghosts, has a change of heart. Both stories deal with the same theme: selfishness brings misery, and selflessness brings joy. Stretching the comparison and contrast even further across genres, we can look at a documentary film produced by National Geographic that deals with the climate crisis and compare that with Dr. Seuss's classic children's book, The Lorax. Both deal with the topics of environmental disaster and our responsibility to be wise stewards of our planet. However, the media and audiences couldn't be more different. One is targeting mostly an adult audience who enjoys educational documentaries, and the other's targeting young children who enjoy Dr. Seuss stories. We just looked at several examples of comparing similar themes across different genres. The first comparison was a novel versus a play. The second was a novel versus a film. And the third was a documentary film versus a children's book. I hope this exercise helps you better understand how we can compare and contrast similar themes across different genres. You will be applying this concept to a civil rights era letter versus a colonial era speech, using both Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham jail and Patrick Henry's speech to the Second Virginia Convention. And that brings us to our tasks for this skill lesson. First, if you haven't already, watch the concept definition video and read the introduction on tab 1. A quick note: the video deals more with doing fictional comparisons and contrasts, like most of the ones that I use as examples in this video. However, you can apply the same principles to nonfiction historical texts such as letters and speeches. Next, complete the vocabulary drag and drop activity on tab 2 to familiarize yourself with the terms used for this skill. After that, read through the model page. The top part has instructions and a checklist for applying this skill. The rest works through a student example comparing letter from Birmingham jail and speech to the Second Virginia Convention. This student example will be particularly helpful to you when it comes time to do your own comparison of these two texts in the close read. So pay extra careful attention to the notes that the student makes. Identify common themes between the two texts and what the student notes about how the topics are presented. Finally, when you're ready, complete the Your Turn activity on tab 4 and check your own results for understanding. Comparing and contrasting texts is a critical skill to master for language arts, particularly when it comes to writing literary analysis essays. However, it can be a tricky skill to master. If you feel lost in this skill lesson, please talk to me before moving forward. I'm happy to help you better understand these concepts.